Let's get started. So, hello everyone. This is PMI Romania, the host of today's event. And after yesterday's meeting, when we talked with Scott Ambler about Discipline Agile, we are pleased to propose you another challenging topic called value streams versus projects in SAFE, which will be presented by Stefan Bargaoanu. For now, I will remind you that the event will be recorded and will be accessible on YouTube. And during the presentation, we prefer that most of us to switch off the webcam and audio. For the Q&A session, please put your questions in advance in the chat window. After the presentation ends, we can stay a few more minutes if you want for any additional comments and feedback sharing. Thank you very much. I wish you a very nice evening. And now I invite Răzvan Ichim, Director for Membership and Recruiting, to introduce today's speaker. Răzvan, you have the mic. Thank you.
Thank you. As Christian mentioned, I joined PMI Romania chapter as Director at Large for Membership and Recruitment. And I am pleased to introduce our speaker for this evening. Mr. Stefan Bargaoanu will tell us about value streams and projects in SAFE, and will share with us his experience and knowledge in implementing Agile projects. Stefan has more than 16 years in project management, where he used several methodologies, Waterfall, Agile, Kanban, and the list goes on. At the moment, he is providing Lean and Agile training for clients from Romania and from abroad. And as he stated, he always cared more about people development and the usage of software than about the software itself. He is the kind of manager who likes to build from starting from his own values and based on his own beliefs, having in mind an efficient way of working based both on company goals and the team's need. Let us welcome Stefan to the PMI event, and I'm quite pleased that he will share with us interesting things. Stefan?
Okay, thank you very much, Răzvan, for the kind words, maybe too kind. Thank you, Christy, for making this possible, and also Julia. I hope that you guys had a great day so far. Let's end the evening in an interesting and maybe a little bit pleasant way. For this evening, since I already had the training in the morning, and to be honest, I'm getting sick and tired of all this PowerPoints, and boy do I miss the markers and the flip charts. Yeah, online training, it has its advantages, but at the same time we do miss some things. So for this evening, I decided no PowerPoint. No PowerPoint. So what I will instead do is most of the time I will share my whiteboard, and you will have the opportunity to make fun of my terrible drawing skills. But still, I hope that the message will get through. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about today is about SAFE, the Scaled Agile framework. Not so much about the framework itself, but mainly about the fact that SAFE dispenses with projects altogether and replaces them with something called value streams. Now, both you and I, at least those I can see the webcam on. We're probably long enough in this project management business to have seen the transition where this transition actually took place from classic project management, and I do like to call it classic instead of traditional. And we've seen the emergence of agile methods, and we as I don't know, as PMPs, we've been wondering lately what is going to be with us and with our profession. Now, we know that typically there are no project managers in an agile environment, and now SAFE is saying that there aren't even projects in this scaling, agile scaling framework. So let's see what this is all about. Okay. So I'm taking over the screen. I hope that you guys can see now my my screen share. Okay. A little bit of technical problems. No, here we are. I don't know about you, but most of my career, and this career started more than 2 decades ago. So I spent most of my career as an entrepreneur. Not a very a very big one. You did not read about me in the in the Financial Times, not even in the local press. Just mainly small companies. Even to this day, I am an entrepreneur. But when we think of a small company that you know, tries to find its way in the world, how is it organized? How is it organized? I think you would all agree with me that it's at least at the beginning, it's organized mainly as in like an informal network, okay, in which people structure and restructure themselves in order to serve the customer in the best way they can, and the customer is indeed at the center of all the it's always in the focus of the people working in this rather informal network. It's typically at the beginning of a company, the structure is quite flat. We do have specialists, but everybody is not only able but also willing to give a hand just to get the things done. Now, as the companies develop and they get they become more and more successful, what do they do? What do they do? So what they do is put in place some structure, some hierarchy, in order to what? In order to make success repetitive, okay, and consistent. So procedures are put in place, hierarchies put in place, and in time, what happens? Okay, one time what happens is that the hierarchy tends to what? To replace and actually to destroy the initial network entirely. So the initial network, the more or less informal network, this is optimized for serving the customer in the quickest way possible, and to for the speed of innovation, while the hierarchy that is put in place is optimized for efficiency and stability, and I don't know, to be able to consistently be successful in the future. Okay, but as organizations tend to become larger and larger and larger, and this network, if it's not destroyed, at least it's watered down. And what happens is that the organizations, the larger they become, the more ossified they become. Okay, it becomes harder and harder for them to respond to the changing market conditions. So in the end, what happens to many of them? They get replaced by what? By new startups, by new companies who operate with this, if you wish, entrepreneurial network, rather informal network, that is typically found in young companies and especially in startups. Now, what we have come to realize is that the hierarchy does not need to destroy does not need to replace the initial network, the one that made the company successful in the first place. And what we instead need is a combination of the two. Okay, so we need both the network and the hierarchy. We need the network for the speed of innovation, and we need the hierarchy for efficiency, stability, for economies of scale, and so forth. So that's where something like SAFe comes into play. SAFe, the Scaled Agile Framework, as the name suggests, is a framework for scaling Agile, the Agile philosophy and practices for large organizations. So large organizations can too become agile and achieve the much wanted business agility. Just a very short, let's take a peek at the SAFe site. I think most of you have seen it by now. Here it is. This is the Scale Framework website, and this is the first page where the big picture resides. That's this is the picture which I don't know. It doesn't speak more than just 1,000 words, more than 1,000 words. It describes at a glance the levels and the configurations, the roles, the artifacts that are used in SAFe in order to, as I said, to allow even large organizations to achieve business agility. And to continue the discussion about SAFe. How do you like my hand drawing so far? Okay.
You change the colors.
Yes, I do. I will. Okay. You should. Let's talk a little bit about SAFe. I will not go into very much detail about the technicalities of the SAFe. It's beyond the scope of this rather short presentation. Now, what you should know about SAFe is that it's based on a few bodies of knowledge. Okay. The first one is lean. The second one is agile. The third one is systems thinking. And then we have DevOps. And I could add to this, and let me actually do it, design thinking. Now, when we read this list, it's quite a list of buzzwords, isn't it? For the purpose of this presentation, we will today focus on the first two bodies of thought, or bodies of knowledge, lean and agile. Now, I think that by now agile is pretty well known. We know the Agile Manifesto, the Agile frameworks, XP, Scrum, Kanban, and many combinations, many things in between. But in my opinion, and this is something that to those of us who are old enough in the Agile movement, we know actually that probably the most important school of thought in the list I mentioned earlier is probably lean. Okay, so what is lean? What is lean? To keep a very long and very interesting story extremely short, lean is the Toyota production system. So the Toyota production system. So the philosophy, the methods, the practices that were invented in the last century at Toyota in order for it to run its operations. And probably Toyota owes its success to this production system. So suffice to say that Lean is the Toyota production system as it was adapted and adopted in the West. Now, some people will dispute this equation, but basically that's what Lean is. It's really beyond the scope of this presentation to get into the details. Is Lean really TPS or not? But it's suffice to say that Lean is the Toyota production system as it was changed and adopted in the West. And I guess from this point of view, we can also count Romania as a Western country, but mainly we're referring to United States and the Anglosphere. Now, this, of course, this very brief definition is nowhere near enough for us to understand what Lean actually is. So then it's for us good to mention that Lean, in fact, has the Lean thinking is based on a few principles. First of the principle is value. Each organization needs to define exactly what value its products, services, and solutions provide to the end customer, and it's the end customer who defines this value. Then, after value come the value streams, and we're getting close to the subject of this presentation. Value streams. Each organization needs to identify precisely how the value flows or streams from towards the final customer. And talking about this, each organization needs to facilitate the flow of value to the customer. And until that becomes part, to have uninterrupted flow of value to the customer, and until that becomes possible, or one instrument to make that possible is to implement pull, meaning that the customer should be allowed to simply pull value from the organization when he needs it, in what quantity he needs it, and so on. And last principle of the Lean thinking is perfection. A Lean organization is engaged in a never-ending pursuit of perfection. So these 5 principles, value streams, flow, pull, and perfection, constitute, if you wish, the core of Lean thinking. Now, I mentioned Lean as being the first body of knowledge, or the first school of thought on which SAFe is based. And we have been accustomed, when talking about Lean, to use an image to describe what Lean is, under the form of the famous House of Lean. And as far as SAFe is concerned, the House of Lean, its version of the House of Lean looks like this. The foundation is, of course, leadership. The purpose, the goal, the ultimate goal, the roof of the house, is, of course, value. A Lean organization wants to deliver as much value as possible, the highest value possible to the customer, to the business partners, to the employees, to the society at large, in the shortest lead time possible. Now, this house of Lean, as far as SAFe is concerned, is supported by 4 pillars. Are you guys still with me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Don't forget the walls.
Okay, let's make it like the frontispiece of a Roman temple or a Greek temple. Okay, so the four pillars of the house of lean as far as safe is concerned. So let's write here that this is the safe's house of lean, which describes how safe sees lean. First of all, is respect for people and culture. Where did we hear this before? In Agile, right? The next pillar is flow. The next one is innovation. And the last one is relentless improvement. Okay, so that's how safe sees summarizes its understanding of lean. What we're going to talk about today is about how value flows in safe. Okay. Okay, and we already mentioned that the second principle on which lean thinking is based is value stream. What is a value stream? Simply put, a value stream is the sequence of steps used by organization to deliver value to the customer. This sequence of steps includes the entire sequence, from concept or custom order to delivery and or receipt of cash. So all the steps from the very beginning to the very end. And these steps, the value stream includes not only the steps, but also the people who do the work, the systems that they use, mainly software systems, and the flow of information and materials. Okay, and the simplest description of a value stream looks something like this. Just a second. We have a step 1. We have a step 2. And let's make another one. And let's call this the step N. This would be the simplest description of a value stream. Now, each value stream typically has a trigger, some important event which starts the entire process, like like a purchase order or a feature request, something. And in the end, there must be value delivered. Okay. Now, the duration between the trigger and the moment when the value is delivered, this is called, of course, lead time. And you should know that normally these steps are repeated for as long as value can be produced. And of course, the value is considered delivered when the shipment is made, or when the solution is deployed, and so on. So, why is this concept important? It is important because in order to achieve a coexistence of an entrepreneurial network inside the organization, together with the hierarchical structure that keeps the lights on in the organization, we do need to have the hierarchy. What SAFE does, organizes the development in the organization around value streams. So this gives me the opportunity to tell you that there are two kinds of value streams. There are operational value streams, and there are development value streams. Okay, operational or value streams contain all the activities in all the people, all the systems, all the information transfer that are used in order to deliver a product or a service to the customer. So this can mean I don't know, manufacturing a car. This means giving a credit card to someone. This means installing an internet connection to someone's house. And then we also have the development value streams. What is the difference between these two? The development value streams, what do? They produce, they can also, again, contain all the activities, all the people, and all the systems and all the information and material transfer needed to what? In order to create the product, the solution, or the service which is delivered by the operational value streams. And you should also know that a development value stream not only produces the products, the solutions, or the services delivered by the operational value stream. In fact, a development value stream also produces the operational value stream itself. Now, when it comes to operational value streams, these are very different from industry to industry. But when it comes to development value streams, they can actually be simplified like this. We again have a trigger, okay, and this like a feature request, or I need this kind of system, like, I don't know, an ERP system, or okay, or a mobile app of some kind. And then the typical steps in any development in a development value stream are these: define, build, validate, and release. Okay. And in between the steps, of course, we have transfers, handoffs. And at the end, what we have the solution. So what you should know, if we go back a little bit to the previous drawing, suppose that this value stream, this black one value stream, is in fact an operational value stream. What we will have is then, and let me make it very simple. What we will have is development value streams, which produce what? Produce the systems, for example, that are used by the operational value stream. Let's suppose that one of these steps uses an ERP. Okay, and such an ERP would be produced by a development value stream. Now, what SAFe does, instead of using projects, it uses value streams in order to development value streams in order to organize the development in the organization. So the first step, as far as adopting SAFe is concerned, is to build portfolios of development value streams. So these value streams, of course, need to be identified. Now, as far as the steps that are needed to identify the development value streams, they are the following. First, we need to identify the operational value streams. These are the value streams that deliver value to the end customer. And then we need to identify the solutions that are used by the operational value stream. And then we need to identify the people who develop and support the solutions. And then we need to identify the development streams that build the solutions. And then the last step, which is specific to SAFe, is to organize to implement the development value streams into the so-called Agile release trains. What are Agile release trains? So first of all, let's say that in our organization, we have identified some development, define, build. We have identified, validate, and release. Some development value streams. How are these development value streams actually put in practice? What we use in SAFe is the so-called Agile release train. What is an Agile release train? An Agile release train is a team of teams. An Agile release train is a team of teams. So in effect, it's an Agile team itself. It's a team of Agile teams. This team of Agile teams, the Agile release train, acts just like a normal Agile team. What does this mean? So first of all, how large is such an Agile release train? Normally, it consists between, I don't know, 50 and 125 people. But typically, there are around 100 people. On average, there are about 100 people in an Agile release train. This Agile release train, being itself just another Agile team. First of all, it will work in iterations. An Agile release train, this team of Agile teams works in iterations which are called program increments. And these iterations are I don't know, 6 to 8, maybe 10 weeks long. It can be also 12 weeks long. Typically, it's around 10 weeks long. So this team of Agile teams works in iterations, let's say around 10 weeks long. And then, just like with a normal Agile team, we have people who are taking, who are telling this team of teams what to work on. So this will be the product management. We have people who are facilitating the work of the train. This would be the release train engineer. This is like a Scrum Master, but at the train level. Okay, and we also have some people who help building the track on which the train is going, and this these people are the system architects or the system engineering, and this track that the train is riding is called the architectural runway. Okay, so to keep a very long story short, what we need to do in order to really have a safe implementation is, first of all, identify the development value streams. Okay, and let me make it very simple. So let's suppose this is the development value stream. The simplest and the best case is that you have a train which can be mapped onto just one value stream. What can also happen is that we have a few smaller development value streams, and then we assemble a train which covers these smaller value streams. And it can also happen, and SAFE gives us tools to work with this. It can happen that we can have very large value streams, and these very large value streams need to be handled by more than one train. Okay, so to sum it up a little bit, in SAFE, we're dispensing of projects altogether for a variety of reasons. But not like there is something wrong with projects. I do happen to believe that projects will continue to exist, but at least in some instances, like in very large product development companies, this stop and go nature of projects, in particular the fact that after the project is over, the team is disassembled, this does not really make sense. This stop and go of a normal classical project is not suited for the speed with which a market is changing these days. So instead of organizing people into projects in SAFE, we organize them into agile release trains. These are teams of agile teams, and these release trains, what they do, they in fact put in practice some development streams. Now, in order to for one to get to the development streams, first one needs to identify the operational streams in the organization. And one thing that I must add is that the development value streams, not only do they contain the people who are actually developing the products or the solutions, but they also contain all those who besides the developers themselves, who are needed in the development, like those from the legal department, for example, okay, those from the procurement, those from finance, and so on. Those people too, they become part of the agile release train, and the value stream is the value streams are implemented using these agile release trains. Also, what we need to know is that the funding and the governance when working with value streams is quite different from a project. So first of all, a value stream is funded for as long as it delivers value. As we know, a project has a definite beginning and a definite end. A value stream does not have a definite beginning and a definite end. It's just the sum of all the processing steps, the sum of all the people, the sum of all the flow of information and materials, and this flow is continuous. Now, when it comes to financing, we are financing value streams for as long as the value that they provide is needed by the market. So this means that you can have, you should have something like, I don't know, quarter reviews of the way that the development value streams are funded, and the way the budgeting process itself is in the realm of lean budgeting. So this means that first of all, there are some guardrails. That's how SAFE is calling them. There are some guardrails defined within which local decisions can be, financing decision can be made at the train level, at the value stream level, and also we talk about participatory budgeting, in which many stakeholders from the organization are involved in order to decide how to split the inevitably limited financial resources of the organization between the value stream. So what does this mean for us? What does this mean for us as project managers, especially if we are classic project managers like myself? Now, I have switched to Agile quite some time ago, and have been working in an Agile manner ever since, more than 10 years now. But what I was not really prepared before finding out about SAFE and studying and teaching and using it, I was not really prepared to see that the projects are gone. And in fact, I've quite a few debates with my my professional and personal friends concerning the future of projects. Now, we already heard about Scrum Masters, we already heard about product owners, and we already heard that maybe for us, maybe there is no place for a typical project manager in an Agile environment. Now things are going even further with SAFE. The projects themselves are disappearing. Okay, so what projects were initially invented for as a focus mechanisms for the organizations. Okay, we take people from different departments and we put them together in this temporary endeavor to produce some kind of unique product or service or in general a result. And after the outcome is produced, then people are going back to their functional departments. The advent of lean and agile means that this stop and go, this endeavor limited in time, is no longer feasible. What we need to achieve is a continuous flow of value, and the projects by their own nature do not encourage a continuous flow of value. And I mean when I mean by their own nature, I in fact mean by the fact they have this stop and go approach. And there are also problems with the way that people are allocated and projects are financed. Now, even in classic project management, people have understood that it's no longer feasible to really break up teams after the project is finished, and maybe we keep the team on and we find a new project for the same team. Okay, in SAFE and to be honest, in other frameworks for scaling Agile, we dispense of projects altogether, and we say that we need to have these long-lived teams, and these long-lived teams of teams, which are financed and kept together, okay, with a much stronger customer focus, and with fewer handoffs, and with much more flexibility, with power to take decisions, both business decisions and financial decisions within the mandate that they are given, for example, within the budgeting guardrail that they were put in place to take these decisions at local level, and to keep these teams in place, working, collaborating for as long as they deliver value. as a sort of conclusion for what I was trying to convey to you through what SAFE does this evening, a value stream and the way we view modern development, it's basically like a project that never ends. This does not mean that it's like all projects that we are used to. They never end in the sense that they're always over time and over budget. That's not what I mean. That's not what we mean. We mean that when we start the value streams and we started the trains working, okay, then the trains run for as long as they can deliver value. Okay, and we continue this agile release train. What they do, they align 100 or so people at the same business and technical mission, and it is perfectly legitimate to change the mission, both from the business and the technical point of view, but still keep the train in place. And also we are allowed, and in fact encouraged, to continually reorganize the trains, to move people between teams and teams between trains, so that they can continuously deliver value. What does this mean for us as project managers? Okay, we've seen this coming. Maybe some of us didn't. This means that what started as the Agile Manifesto and the advent of the Agile methods, in which the planning is done differently, the way working is done differently, the way we deliver is done differently. Okay, then this revolution continues, and it's taken to its next logical step of dispensing with projects altogether, okay, and instead ensuring a continuous flow of value. Okay, that's what I had to tell you this evening. I know it's not an in-depth discussion. I just wanted to maybe scare you a little bit, if not to at least to intrigue you a little bit. And in fact, to encourage you to take a look not only at SAFE but also at other scaling approaches for Agile, because as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the market is concerned, at least in some areas, and mainly in software development, that's where the future is. Okay. Okay. So my 45 minutes are gone. I will have to stop here, right?
Okay, thank you, Stefan. Yeah, nice drawings.
Oh,
IKEA colors, Swedish
yeah.
colors, yellow and blue. Okay, let's encourage people to put questions either on the chat window or directly if you want to open the video and audio channel. By then, I would rephrase your definition of a value stream, or that wonderful train. It's like a project with a continuous sequence of change requests, right?
Yes,
And,
we could also view it like this. Okay, but because it's continuous, then the funding is changed.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
as in any change control procedure. Yeah, you cannot deliver a new change request on the same budget. Or if you can do that, maybe the initial budget was a bit inflated.
Okay, so what we do in SAFE, the work comes into the system under the form of the so-called epics. So these epics are the largest development initiatives of the company, and these epics are at the portfolio level of SAFE. Now, These epics, they warrant analysis. They must be budgeted. They must be approved. These epics, they are guided by the vision of the portfolio, which the vision itself is informed by the strategic themes of the organization, which can also be found at the portfolio level. I mean, people tend to be somewhat intimidated by the big picture of SAFE. It's actually while you sit down and if you sit down and study it a little bit, it's actually quite easy. The most difficult and the most esoteric part, if you wish, of SAFE, it's really in the top parts. And we today just barely the surface. We just barely scratch the surface of this most difficult part of SAFE. The lower levels of SAFE is just normal Agile. You have Agile teams as we know them, and we assemble them in teams of Agile teams which behave just like an individual team. We have 125 people which act like a normal team of 10 people, of course, with differences. Okay, but it's in fact it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Okay. So, is there any questions you would like to ask Stefan? Okay, then let me ask you something, Stefan, because you mentioned Toyota production system and lean thinking. How would you define or frame these two kind of value activities, let's say? So the first scenario is mass production, continuous delivery of a specific model of Toyota car. Yeah. And this basically seems like a value stream. And the second scenario is the effort of designing a new kind of car, maybe fueled by air or by water. So something that has never done before.
Okay, and it doesn't even have to be something this spectacular. It just can mean the next iteration of Toyota Land Cruiser, okay, or the next iteration of Dacia Duster. Okay, so in both cases we're talking about value streams. Assembling cars, this is an operational value stream. Okay, in fact, it's a manufacturing value stream.
Right.
And of course, in a manufacturing value stream, our focus is mainly on reducing variability and on reducing waste. Now, when we talk about designing a new kind of car, a new type of car, it again doesn't need to be something so fancy as I don't know, a rocket-powered car or whatever. Okay, this being a development value stream, the focus is no longer on reducing variability and on hunting and eliminating waste. Variability in product development is intrinsically good. Variability produces options, and variability in the end means learning. So instead of in a development value stream, instead of focusing on reducing waste, we focus on flow. Okay, so flow is more important in a development value stream, and these are very different sciences. And and I think that's why you asked the question. It's sometimes a terrible confusion between lean manufacturing and lean product development. People sometimes tend to just take concepts from lean manufacturing and apply them to product development. These are very different scenarios. But again, what we should know, that lean product development, lean manufacturing, the Agile movement itself, all of these are instances of lean thinking. This was clear from the beginning in the lean movement, and all the great agilists who invented the methods that we use today, they knew this, and they we know, in fact, those of us who are in software, we know that what happened with the agile movement in software already happened before, 50 years before, in the auto industry at Toyota. Okay, so it's a very good point to make. Lean manufacturing is one thing. Lean product development is a completely different thing, and operates with different laws and with different focus. We move from waste reduction to flow, to enabling the flow on value, and that's the key. That's the key. That's why. That's the main reason why SAFe promotes using value streams instead of our typical classic projects. I hope I answered your question.
Great, thank you, Stefan. Anyone else? Come on, I finished my questions. No other questions. Okay, could you recommend us a good book right on this topic, Stefan?
It's concerning value streams versus projects.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
close to the topic of
close to the topic. This it was already mentioned in a previous PMI Romania webinar. It's Mick Kirsten's book, from projects to products, from project to product. That's probably the newest book written on the subject, and I cannot recommend strongly enough, although it is a very difficult read, Donald Reinertsen's Principles of Product Development Flow book. Maybe I'm not smart enough to understand that book, but that does not stop me from recommending it to you. So these two books, Mick Kirsten's From Project to Product, and Don Reinertsen's Principles of Product Development Flow. In fact, these two books and the knowledge from them have greatly influenced SAFe. You find them referenced again and again on the SAFe website. If you will care to take a look at it sometime.
Okay, thank you. I would also recommend the Lean Mindset, Ask the Right Questions, by Mary Poppendick and Tom Poppendick.
Yeah. The Poppendicks are at the forefront of a movement called Lean Software Development.
Right.
Okay, Kanban itself, the Kanban method. Yes. Is it really part of the Agile movement? Is it part of the Lean movement? Maybe there is some overlap with the Agile movement, but what the Kanban method does is actually implementing way more from Lean than any other Agile method. And you should know that in the end, Lean and Agile are different schools of thought. They are complementary. Well, where Agile is lacking, in my opinion, and I can relate to my early Agile days, in order for Agile to succeed in large organizations, when there are many people involved, it must be augmented with Lean. It must be, in fact, I don't know, merged with Lean. That's why we say that SAFe is a Lean and Agile framework. Okay, and I strongly encourage everybody here. Maybe you guys are also into Agile or not, but even if you are or you are not, I have some I don't know if it's bad news, but I do have some news for you. You need not only study and learn about Agile, but you certainly need to study and practice Lean also. You need to understand what Lean is, because it's Agile is greatly influenced and needs to be further influenced by Lean in order to make software, very large software development endeavors work. And it seems that we're talking about everything will become digital. Yeah. What does this mean? There are many definitions of this digitization thing, but in my opinion, what this means is that software development will become core business for most of the organizations. So that's what SAFe does. If you want, I like to think of SAFe as a framework for for the rest of us. It's a framework for the rest of us who are not working already in the FANG, like Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google. The large technology companies which have mastered to expert level software development. Now everybody else in the economy will need to also master software development at the same level. What I really liked Dean Leffingwell, the creator of SAFe. I liked when he said in a keynote presentation, I think last year, that we the rest of the economy, we need to master large-scale software development just like Apple, Google, and Facebook do, because if we don't, we will all end up working for a handful of trillionaires. Okay, because companies like Amazon, like Google, it's very easy for them to go into a very different business. Okay, they have the money and they have know-how. If they decide tomorrow to make spaceships, they can do it. Okay, so the rest of us who do not work in this very large software development companies, because that's what they are essentially. Even Tesla itself is basically they are producing batteries and software. That's what they're making. They're not really making cars. I mean, if you how many Teslas are sold each day compared to, I don't know.
They are making batteries.
Yeah, batteries and software.
Yeah, but that is the essential part of that car, and of course the software, the infotainment.
Yes, exactly. No. Not only the way the car itself is run by software. Okay, so this is
you're right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a cyber physical system. A car is no longer a car.
And the same way, many financial institutions like banks are transforming themselves in technology companies.
Yes, and this trend will only be accelerated by the current sanitary situation. Okay, so there's more and more organizations, and honestly, I also hope to see the government moving into this direction. Okay, so more and more things will be handled using a computer. Okay, so we already know some banks even here that are at the forefront of digital transformation. And I will not give names, but I once talked to someone from a very large bank here in Romania, and I talked to them, I think, was it 2 or 3 years ago, and they told me that in a few years there will only be about a quarter of the branches that they currently have.
That has been started for a while.
Yes, exactly, and now it's accelerating.
Right.
And we will know that this tsunami is really here when the government will start to do this. When we will see the administration also moving online and finally joining the digital revolution. But the banks and the government and everybody else, the car manufacturers, they will not be able to succeed in this revolution if they do not handle software development at very large scale. And this means, amongst other things, that they will have to move to development value streams and some form of realizing those development value streams.
Right. Thank you, Stefan, for all of these thoughts and experiences that you share with us. Let's see. Is anyone else to ask something? Again, last call. Okay. Okay, it seems like no other questions. Then I would like to thank you, Stefan.
Thank you and all the attendees.
And of course, we are waiting for you for the next period of time to be our guest again. So,
with pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and see you next month, because we are always running in an endless marathon.
Okay, value stream.
Yeah, value stream, of course. Yeah.
So it's running as long as it's delivering value. Okay.
We want to deliver value to
on a continuous basis. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a nice evening now. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.